the word soma by Paul means physical, a physical resurrection. The word anastasis can only mean bodily resurrection. This word is used 44 times in the New Testament. Giesler says, in The Significance of Christ's Physical Resurrection, that's in his article, that information. We could go on. So we've looked at some of the information about the physical resurrection of Christ. What else is there? We've got a couple of minutes left. Contradictions. The issue about the day, what day Christ was killed. If you look at the Talmud, it tells you that a day can be seen, half a day can be seen as a day. So the calculation of what day Christ was crucified has to be done with that Talmud understanding of time. That's how you answer those kind of contradictions. The last thing, the issue concerning Joseph Smith and the Mormons. The difference there is we know that they were lying. I've talked to one of the top apologists of the Mormons in the UK, and he admitted that there are no facts for the Book of Mormon. There's no information or factual information about the travel from Jerusalem to America and people living in America. So we know that these witnesses are lying, where there is tons of factual information about the Gospels. Luke is mentioning people like Tiberius, Herod. He's mentions in the book of Acts 44 various characters and different offices in the Roman world, and gets it correct every time. So we know that these people are talking about their times, and we know all this historical information is correct. And it's a different kettle of fish concerning that and the Book of Mormon. And so your argument there, Dan, is just very, very poor, very, very weak. Finally, you get your arguments about the spiritual Jesus from Earl Horty. He's a major influence on this idea. He has no PhD. He hasn't even got an MA. He's not even accepted by the scholarly world. He's a bit of a crank. Richard Carrier, who promotes this, who's the main scholar, I have studied his work. I've looked at his sources. Every time I look at his sources, he gets his sources wrong. Okay, you're building an argument on very bad scholarship. Also, another guy who promoted this, Dr. Wells, a German scholar, has renounced these kind of ideas because he realized they're so bad. So you're basing your scholarship on very, very poor scholarship, whereas I based my scholarship on mainstream scholars who are accepted by atheist and non-atheist. Okay, so that's my basic argument to Dan Courtney. Alright, hope that's been a help. Also, I just want to say I've gone over my time, but I'll just for a few seconds on the issue of miracles. Also this issue about uniformity of nature with David Hume. There's a couple of issues there. Number one, it's a circular argument. Resurrections don't happen because they don't happen. That's circular. One-off events can give us information. For example, the issue of the rise of the universe is a one-off event, but we can investigate that. Okay, it doesn't have to be a uniform thing that goes on and on repeatable, like in a scientific study, a repeatable scientific methodology. We can look at one-off events. So you can't use the uniformity of nature as an argument. Also, there are epistemological issues. Dr. Swinburne has pointed out problems with Kant and Hume on causality, that their empiricism is a very limited epistemology in saying an event and in describing causal events, because there are things that we can know for sure that we know, not based on scientific investigation. For example, how many scientific peer reviews have been done on your eyes that you have eyes? Nothing. But yet you know you've got eyes. So in other words, David Hume's empiricism lacks a variety of epistemologies that you can have, and it's very limited in its scope. Also, there have been studies in miracles by Dr. Keener, science